Hi, I'm Dr. Sheehan from Sheehan Natural Health Improvement Center, and today we are going to talk about rheumatoid arthritis. In our office, we have had good results with patients who suffer with rheumatoid arthritis, and we're going to go through a case study, or maybe a couple case studies at the end, of actual results that I've seen and what we did. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about some demographics and allopathic treatment. Allopathic means medical treatment and side effects. So all the demographics, allopathic treatment, stipulations I'm going to go over, side effects, they're taken from rheumatoidarthritis.org. Okay, so you can fact check this right there. Okay, that's the website. So for demographics, who does it affect? Rheumatoid arthritis is one of the top autoimmune diseases in the country right now. It affects women more than men at a ratio of 3 to 1. It affects women 30 to 60 years of age, and it's more likely to be diagnosed in a person if you have another person in your family that has been diagnosed with it. The symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis are symmetrical joint pain. In other words, this hand will hurt as much as this hand, this elbow as much as this elbow, that kind of thing. Okay, symmetrical joint pain, fatigue, malaise, which means basically the blahs, fever, and joint destruction. You see people that have like really crinkled up hands, especially these joints in here. That usually is indicative of rheumatoid arthritis. Now, the allopathic diagnosis, the way that a medical doctor will diagnose you with this, is by three main factors. By lab tests, they'll use what's called a positive rheumatoid factor, positive CCP, a positive erythrocyte sedimentation rate, positive C-reactive protein, positive anti-nuclear antibodies. Those are the lab tests that they typically use for this, okay? On X-ray, you're going to see joint destruction. Like I said, one of the most common ones is going to be these joints in here, okay? But you can also have, the hips, the elbows, shoulders, that kind of stuff. But you're going to see actual destruction there on the radiographs or X-rays. And then also positive physical diagnosis, okay? They're going to have pain upon palpation, or, like let's say they have pain, they're saying, well, my elbows are killing me, and you touch there and it's red, hot, and painful to the touch. That's a positive physical diagnosis symptom, okay? So that's what the allopathic diagnosis is. Now, the allopathic treatment is divvied up into 4 different ways, okay? You've got non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, corticosteroids, disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, and surgery, okay? Now we know what the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories are. They're like aspirin, naproxen, I think is one, ibuprofen, things like that, okay? Now the side effects of those are going to be liver damage, heart problems, upset stomach, and kidney damage. Those things, they're a lot more damaging than you would expect, okay? There's also what are called corticosteroids, like the prednisone and things like that. And side effects of those are swelling, weight gain, increased blood pressure, mood swings, diabetes, increased risk for infection, and osteoporosis. That's why if someone's been on them for a long time, you'll start to see like this, because they're actually developing osteoporosis here, and they're losing the bone in here, and they're starting to shrink. Okay, so they're very, very dangerous, especially long term. Okay, and if you have RA and you're prescribed these drugs, then a lot of times you're going to need to take them long term. I know people in my family that had to take them, and they became disabled from them. There's kind of a new classification of drugs called disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs. Now, their side effects are going to be liver damage and increased risk for infection. And from what I hear, they're very, very nasty. Remember, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't prescribe any of this stuff. So I'm just taking the facts from rheumatoidarthritis.org. Okay, I think the same facts are on arthritis.org as well, by the way. Okay? And then, of course, the side effects of surgery, the last way in which the last medical treatment for arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, is possible infection, irreversible changes in the body. I mean, you can't uncut a person. Death, although rare, it does happen. It happens. I think the statistics are 1 in 100 people will die on the operating table. And then also, if surgery doesn't work, then your body is going to be changed forever. Okay, so that's why they usually do use it as a last ditch effort, I should say. Okay, so they talk about natural treatment for arthritis, and I would not say natural treatment for arthritis, but a person who has rheumatoid arthritis, okay, we take what's called a Triad Approach to it, and we actually take care of what the person's weaknesses are in their body. Okay, when someone has rheumatoid arthritis, I see these 3 things. I see biochemical changes in the body. Okay, that's what we handle with nutrition. Structural changes in the body. Okay, and emotional changes. Now, the biochemical changes, I'm going to tell you, every person that I've seen that has rheumatoid arthritis has some kind of weakness in digestion and food sensitivities, and they've got to be handled. If they're not handled, every time you eat something, okay, your immune system is going to be triggered and it's going to attack those joints. Okay, common food sensitivities are wheat, especially grains, processed sugar, and pasteurized dairy. But there's some other ones too. Like I actually have a little bit of a rheumatic. I have a little bit of an arthritic tendency, and I do not do well with beans, as my wife found out the other day. It sounds terrible, but she made me beans, and actually my spine was really sore after that, and I had digestive problems. So make sure you evaluate your digestion, identify food sensitivities, and eliminate them. Now you can, for food sensitivities, we use what's called nutrition response testing to evaluate those, but you can also evaluate those with blood work. You can also evaluate those with salivary tests, or if you want to, if you're at home, you can just avoid those 3, actually I would say 4 things, okay? Grains, processed sugar, pasteurized dairy, and beans. Okay, you need to cut those out for a month to actually feel the effects. Some food allergies you don't actually feel until a couple days or even weeks later. So you could eat wheat today and not feel it for a couple weeks. It's called a delayed hypersensitivity reaction. Okay, so that's what you can do at home. Okay, the next thing that we see is in the immune system. Everybody that I've seen that has rheumatoid arthritis has some kind of weakness, or they're fighting something off in their immune system. Like I had a recent person come in, she actually had Lyme disease, okay, and it was just missed. She was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and also with hypothyroidism, and if you look, she actually had Lyme disease, okay? So you got to take care of the immune system. By the way, when you take care of the digestion and food sensitivities, most of your immune system is going to be in your digestive tract, and so your immune system will work that much better and it'll balance a lot quicker. Also, endocrine problems. Endocrine means hormonal problems. The 2 most common ones I see are thyroid and adrenal. This also goes with digestion. There's when you eat glutens, everybody knows what gluten is. It's a specific protein that's found in gluten-containing grains, most notably wheat, but also barley, rye, oats, probably a couple other things, kamut, spelt, stuff like that. But when you eat those things and your body digests that gluten, gluten actually goes into your bloodstream, okay, and your immune system attacks it. However, the gluten looks very much to your body like thyroid antibodies, and so your body will attack the gluten and it'll cross-react with the thyroid. Okay, so that's the reason why you'll see a lot of people with gluten sensitivities that actually have hypothyroidism as well, and then later on they develop joint disease like rheumatoid arthritis, but they could develop other ones like psoriatic arthritis and stuff like that. So we've got to identify and handle those endocrine weaknesses such as adrenal and thyroid. Those are the most common ones. And then just once you take care of the digestion, food sensitivities, immune system, and endocrine system, some people just need to, calm down their inflammation. How are they going to do that? I mean, there's specific herbs like turmeric, ginger, celery seed, boswellia, but there's also digestive enzymes that will actually go systemically. Making sure that you get enough omega-3 fatty acids from like, wild-caught fish, cage-free, free-range eggs and poultry, and also grass-fed beef. They'll be higher in omega-3 fatty acids, which are very anti-inflammatory. Those things will actually address inflammation directly. Okay. Also, a lot of times with rheumatoid arthritis, you're going to see misalignment of the bones. You know, instead of sitting on top of each other like this, they're slightly like this. Okay. Chiropractic helps immensely with that. Now, if you have an acute inflamed joint, you're not going to adjust it. Okay. For those types of people, you can also do massage. I would probably do massage for those. I wouldn't even do any rehab until a person feels better. But chiropractic, when a person is not inflamed, and also if you adjust the spine, let's say they have pain in their wrist and elbows, okay, and you actually adjust the spine, a lot of times you can affect the nerves that go to the wrist and the elbow, and the person will feel a lot better. Okay, so you can address the structural issues with chiropractic and massage. And then when a person's feeling better, specific rehab techniques, and even just regular old exercise. Like we're going to go for a walk in a little bit. It stopped raining for a little while. And that's very, very good for pain relief, any kind of exercise. Now we've got the emotional issue with rheumatoid arthritis. We've got, if you look at, what I want you to do is go back to my other video on stress, and I go into it a lot. But we've got what are called internal stressors, which are basically what we think. Okay, external stressors, which is what is happening to us. And then, if we have any of these biochemical things off and structural problems, we'll get an increase in stress hormones, which will cause inflammation. Okay, the way we deal with emotional stress, okay, the emotional side here, okay, is through exercise. And I have another video on exercise, so you can just go take a look at that. It's on our YouTube. But basically, the harder you exercise, the less you need to exercise. Usually, if someone's really hurting, I'll just prescribe them low-level intensity exercise, like I said, like walking. Or I have a bike upstairs, you know, with the arms that go like this. That's awesome for getting blood flow in there and calming that pain down. Also, stress reduction. If you look on our YouTube, we have one called the Ultimate Relaxation Hour. Take a look at that. It's actually progressive relaxation, which will help calm your body down. It'll calm your brain waves down from a high beta wave to a low beta wave, or alpha or theta, which will calm you down. It'll also help decrease cortisol and adrenaline production. Okay, so take a look at that. You can use any meditation technique if you want. The focus is with any kind of meditation and stress reduction actually is to go from being in your mind and thinking about everything to going into like feeling. And so like if you're doing a meditation and you're feeling, you know, your body, and you feel actually, you'll feel like different like stressful areas, and you can feel it calm down. Or if we're going to go for a walk in a little bit here, and instead of just thinking about everything, we'll be looking out at the trees and watching the birds go, you know, flying overhead, and we'll be looking at the river and stuff like that. And that's very, very relaxing to your brain waves and to decrease cortisol. So let me talk to you about one of the case studies that we had with rheumatoid arthritis. I had a woman come in, and it was in the fall, and she was like in terrible racking pain, and it was, I forgot where the pain was. I think she had it in her knees and her elbows. She couldn't extend her arm, and it was horrible. When I checked her, okay, first of all, she was very stressed out from the structural, okay, she was off, she needed chiropractic treatment, but also a lot of the biochemical issues. She was hypothyroid, and so she was, she had a sensitivity to gluten, and of course she was eating it. So she had digestion and food sensitivities off, okay? In her immune system, like I said, she was hypothyroid, okay? In her immune system, what had been missed medically is actually she had Lyme disease, okay? So she had a smoldering infection in her body probably for the past 10 years, okay? And the whole thing was leading to inflammation. Most of her issue was biochemical, okay? She had some structural issues, and then the emotions were because she was very stressed out from all that pain, okay? So what we did is, I told her to stop eating the gluten And we handled the food sensitivities by giving her specific digestive enzymes so she could digest better. The immune system, we gave her special whole food supplements and herbs that would strengthen the immune system so it could fight the Lyme's, okay? And also, she was already on medication that was for her thyroid, okay? Did we give anything for inflammation? We didn't need to. She felt better in a couple days. Structural issues, she was in too much pain to adjust, so we waited to do that. And emotionally, what I did for her was I told her, I said, get off your computer. She said she'd be watching TV and working on her computer at the same time. I said, that is way too much brain stimulation. That is going to release a tremendous amount of cortisol and stress hormones, which is going to make you feel stressed. So she stopped that, okay? She did what I told her with cleaning up her diet and taking her supplements. And within days, I think she was feeling about 70% better within like a couple days. Now, she still has the diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis, but she's about 80% better now. So that's typically the kind of results that we get with rheumatoid arthritis. We actually take care of the person and address the biochemical, structural, and emotional issues, and then what happens is the person feels a lot better. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, of course, write them down below. And I'm also going to include a type out of what I just went over down there, so if you want to reference that. So if you like it, give us a thumbs up. Thanks. Bye-bye.